Hi everyone. Today's video is another figure painting on a messy background. The color palette is a little different on this one, and I've glued in some collage as well as did some Asemic writing on it and into the background. So a few different ways of working perhaps. If you're new to my channel and we haven't met before, I'm Pat from Scrivener Art and Design in Vancouver Island, Canada, and I'd just like to say hello to everyone and Happy New Year and best wishes for a fantastic creative year in 2024. If you have comments or questions regarding anything in the video, please feel free to ask them in the comments. Give the video a like and subscribe to my channel so you get notifications of future videos. It really does help the algorithm so more people get to watch the video. I hope you enjoy the video and best of luck on your creating. I'm adding some color to the figures that I have blocked in with chalk. So this started as a messy background with some collage in it. And I found these words in something I was looking at through a magazine, and it said the truth seekers, and that kind of spoke to me. So I glued that in, and whether it remains in the end painting or not, we'll see. But right now I am going in around the negative space and blocking in the background so that I can see these figures easily. So this has a very varied palette with a lot of colors I don't actually normally use or even enjoy, but there's something that I have in my painting arsenal, and I thought I should start using some of these paints up. So I have some red iron oxide that's not one of my favorites. Maybe in landscapes it would be a better color, but I am trying to use some of it up here, and I have put lots of teal and a lime green that I have made up out of colors on my palette. So I've got a cobalt blue, and I've also used a violet color as well, and now I'm using some phthalo turquoise, and it's fairly transparent, so I'm trying to let those words or letters peek through at this point. So just coming in and defining where the figures are. Now, if you use transparent paint, you will be able to see your marks from underneath. I'm using chalk here, just chalkboard chalk, to pencil in another figure, and I'm going to remove this from behind, making it a little more interesting with some up and down rather than all in a straight line, and a little bit of negative space in between. Just cleaning up around some of those edges. I'm using a Liquitex paddle brush. It's about 1 inch wide. I find it very handy to be able to get in tight but yet cover big areas. You have a lot of control with it. I've done quite a bit of stamping on this painting in the understory, and for that I just used an insulation pipe, the foam insulation pipe that I cut, and I can make various types of circles and ovals with it. It can be quite interesting. Now just blocking in the head slightly And for this, I've just used colors on my palette, kind of mixed it up to be a skin tone. So several things will work for that. You can use your red and yellow, or if you have a burnt sienna on your palette, you could add white to that. So just experiment a little bit. You want the colors to harmonize, so I like to use colors on my palette to do this. So just coming back in here with the figures behind this shorter person. And I'm adding some of that red in other places to bring your eye across the painting. You want to make sure not to isolate a color. Adding some more of the green in places. Thinking about where to put it next, and a lot of times I go over the colors several times just to enhance them more and make it a little bit thicker. So I'm wiping off my chalk lines here. You can just use a damp cloth for that. Got a jelly pen that I'm doing a little bit of Asemic writing. Asemic writing is to look like writing, and I'm having a little trouble with this pen. It probably works better if it's flat rather than upright, so that the ink flows out of it. But Asemic writing is just scribbles that look like words but aren't actually legible words. You can think of words while you're doing Asemic writing, but you just kind of make it scribbly looking so that it gives the look of script without actually saying anything. Of course, you could write words in too, if you're comfortable with that, and sometimes I do that. Often I start my paintings early on with writing into it. So you can see in this I've also written into the background, paint to kind of give a story up there. At this time, I'm leaving the dresses long, but that can all change. So deciding whether you want to have legs or not, that's a personal preference. You kind of have to listen to your painting and decide what will work best and maybe what the story is about. So just going in here, adding dabs of color in different places. Now I'm using a Posca pen. It's an acrylic marker, and it's a great way to add a little bit of line in places. So I have a teal color. It's fairly close to the color in my painting, and I'm not exactly outlining, but just coming around in a sketcherly fashion to add a little bit of emphasis to some of the figures. So different types of pens or mark making material will work for this. Sometimes I do use pastel as well, but one thing you have to be mindful of is if it is water soluble. Just doing a little bit more stenciling now, and trying to just be a bit random with it, not going everywhere, but adding some more pattern back in places. If you're feeling stuck, this can be a great way to add some playfulness back in. So I find that if I do some mark making, Asemic writing, stenciling, just bring that inner child back into play in your paintings, can really help to loosen it up again. It's so easy to get stuck or feeling tight on our work and allowing things to become precious. So coming back in with playfulness can change the energy in your painting. And I know it can be scary. It can feel like you're taking a big risk because there's things in your painting that you really like, but in my experience, it is the best thing to do, is just invite that child back if you're becoming a little bit too tight and questioning every move that you make. We want to stay in this playful, intuitive zone as long as possible. You know, eventually we have to bring the analytical side in to start making decisions to finish the painting, but until then, just try and listen to your painting, ask your painting what it wants, look for things that stand out to you that aren't working, aren't speaking to you. By taking a long look, I mean stepping away from your painting a few feet, squinting at your painting, these things make a difference. You can also use your phone camera, take a picture, see it small. That really helps. Another thing that you can do if your camera is not handy or if you don't have one, you can use a mirror. So just a little handheld mirror, and stand looking away from your painting with the mirror looking at your painting. And this will give you a whole different viewpoint of your painting. Somehow miniaturizing it, you can easier take it in and see the flaws. You may also want to do a value check. So it's very easy on your phone to switch it to black and white. You can also squint to see the values, or you could use a piece of red transparency and look through that, and you will be able to see your values. So we want to have a nice broad range of values, and when we're working close up, we often tend to stay in the mid-range of the value scale because it's safe and it doesn't feel jarring. But we really want our work to show well from a distance, and in order for that to happen, the value contrast is really key. So I encourage you to really be cognizant of your values and the strengths of them, and getting used to trying to read the values. So I have chalked out some legs here. I have decided to give up the long dresses, and I've made a neutralized gray tone here that I'm painting the negative space around the legs. Now the legs can be painted in on top of those, but I find this the easiest way of doing it, and maybe leaving a little bit of the underpainting as part of the coloring, so it connects with the garments on the people. So you can modify the legs. You can add collage to them. Often I use a patterned collage paper, or I paint on stripes, whatever works for you. So I decided that the background color was a little too dark, and I made a lighter color. And again, this is a value thing that I found my legs weren't standing out enough. Now I could have made the legs light and the background dark, but I have decided to leave my legs as part of the dress and not actually color them in. So I want that background to be lighter, and I'm sorry I'm standing in front of the painting and you can't actually see me do this, but you get to see the change as I progress across the bottom of the painting there. So it really is making a difference in these legs, that they're really starting to stand out more. So sometimes if your figures are not standing out enough, you might consider changing the background instead of changing the color on the figures, or whatever you're painting. It might be a still life. So again, having the contrast is key. So I hope that you enjoyed the video, and where I've got to, I might make a few more changes, but I'm going to show you it in room settings and some close-up detail.